Hey guys, this is Josh here with Trillium Wild Edibles, and I wanted to do an identification video on this medicinal plant called Canadian Sanicle. The plant you're looking at is called Canadian Sanicle. There are several varieties of this plant, and usually determining one from another is going to be very difficult by collectors. The reason being, these plants are usually separated by technical details that are most determined in a lab setting. So determining one from another is going to be very difficult. However, the good thing is, almost all of them are used interchangeably. One thing you may notice about this plant is this extremely small umbel or cluster of yellow to greenish flowers here. These flowers can be any color from yellow, green, all the way to white. So that's something to kind of keep in mind, is that you can see various colors throughout this plant on its flowers. This plant has 3 to 5 leaflets on the lower leaves. You're going to notice 5 leaflets on the leaf coming out of the petiole. These leaves are lance-shaped and they are toothed, and you'll note that they have these kind of lobe-like teeth here where my thumb is and here by my ring finger. And you may also notice these serrations or these teeth running down the margins or the edges of the leaf. The lower leaves of the plant are going to be growing out of this very long leaf stem that you see here, whereas the top leaves of the plant just grow right out of the main stalk. They don't have really a stem that they attach to that attaches to the stalk, so that's something else to kind of keep in mind. Also, as you get further up the plant, the top sets of leaves are only going to have 3 leaflets. And again, they are going to be toothed with various types of lobes. And you may be able to see here how small these top leaflets can actually get. They can get pretty small. And they get smaller as you go up the plant, so that's something to keep in mind. This plant can grow to several heights. I usually only find it growing to about 2 feet high in my area. Where it grows, it usually likes to cover an entire area, so that's one of the good things about it. You may be able to see all of this sanicle here growing along the edge of this road. And if we go back over here, we can see even more of this sanicle. But here's more of this sanicle so you guys can see what I'm talking about on how thick this stuff really does grow. I mean, this stuff is everywhere. Whenever you find it, you're going to see a lot of it. I bet a lot of you probably see this all the time and maybe wonder what it is. Now you guys know what it is. Like I said, you can find it anywhere in moist woodlands. This plant is just prolific as can be. But here you can kind of get an idea of the type of woodland environment that I'm in here. We've got a lot of spice bush around in the area. We've got a lot of poplars, a lot of maple, we've got ash. And then right on the other side, we've got some pines, good mixed deciduous trees. This plant has a lot of awesome uses. I usually like to use the leaves mainly in poultices for bruises or cuts or any kind of inflammation. You can also take the whole plant and you can crush it or macerate it in your hands, and then you can put it in hot bath water with plantain, and that'll help to relieve the pain of sore muscles. It'll also help to relieve bone or joint pains like rheumatic pains or rheumatic complaints. It'll help to relax the tendons, it'll help to relax the body. Like I said, it helps to relieve pain, it's anti-inflammatory. That's one of the really, really good things about this plant. I don't know if you guys can see the scar that's left on the tip of my thumb, but I had a really bad cut there about 1.5 years ago. And I had used Canadian Sanicle on it because I was in the woods when this cut happened. I didn't have anything else on me to help relieve the pain or stop the inflammation. It was pretty bad. There was actually blood squirting out. I actually had to kind of tourniquet up my thumb with my shirt at the time and some bank line because it was all I had on hand. It was a really bad cut. And if it wasn't for this plant, I would have been in excruciating pain on the drive home. It was really bad. And it's because of this plant that I wasn't in pain. And I use this plant, I tell people about this plant all the time whenever they have muscle pains or joint pains or rheumatic complaints. This plant, along with Plantain, is amazing for those kinds of things. If you look in your field guide, it won't really talk a lot about that, but if you read the Indian Herbology of North America by Alma R. Hutchins, she does talk about the use of Sanicle for inflammation and pain. So that's something to kind of keep in mind, is that whenever you're reading different sources, sometimes you're going to see different things. A lot of different plants, medicinally and edibly, have a lot of uses. They have a lot of variations in uses, and there are a lot of different ways that you can use plants, just like there are a lot of variations within the plants themselves sometimes. So I thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. If you want to learn more about edible or medicinal plants, make sure to subscribe.